Hey everyone, it's B-eres and this is Hit or Miss. And today I'm going to look at the decks from Conjuring Arts. And we'll start with one that I believe was basically the first one they released, the Expert at the Card Table deck. Which is pretty cool. It looks exactly like the Expert at the Card Table book, as you can see. And inside you basically get a B deck of cards. That design is pretty simple, straightforward, looks like a B deck, except with white borders. Handles pretty nice here, as you can see, as nice as you can want it to handle. And basically it has perfect pips on it. I can see that. I can tell you that right away because they're smaller than usual. And it just basically has standard bicycle faces, custom ace of spades. This looks pretty nice, and some custom jokers. So it's, oh yeah, there they are. I'm not sure if this deck is intended to be a B deck like the rest of the decks in this series or not, because it doesn't have a B ace of spades, nor any kind of B court cards. It doesn't say B on anything, for that matter. So I'm guessing this was just meant to be more like a bicycle deck. And it does feel more like it is a bicycle deck. It's not. It feels more like a bicycle stock, plus it has perfect pips. But it is a nice deck. Handles great, and are pretty good. And it's got the white borders, unlike most, B decks or whatever that this is. The white borders is good, and also tells me it's not a B deck. And I definitely think this one is a hit. Just for that matter. Then they came out with a whole bunch of decks mixed up, the Smith backs and the Acorn backs. They kind of came out with different colors at different times, but these are the Smith backs. There is red, black, and this one, which was kind of white and a blue. They all come with these same cards. And there's also this Ask Alexander card. These ones got some pretty interesting older style B pips and court cards. I really like that. And some custom chokers. And like I said, the court cards are pretty nice looking, really big, more of an older style. And the Ace of Spades is kind of just a standard B. It is a full bleed borderless back design. And of course they handle pretty good. They are B decks, they're a good stock, a good finish. The only downside is it's borderless, but it's still a pretty nice looking deck of cards. And if you look at the black ones, you get the same thing in the black ones. Same court cards and everything. Except that it has black backs. And you don't see too many black B decks out there. So that's pretty nice. And I was definitely all over this one when it came out. But again, no borders. Then there's this blue one. I think this is the last one that came out of these ones. And this one, the one I have is actually a smooth finish. Most of these Erdnase decks you can get in either a smooth or a Ericson type finish, or a cambric finish, I guess you can say, like they have in these decks. One of these tells me what finish it is. I know that much for sure. Yeah, a cambric finish. But this one is an ivory finish. It's a smooth finish. And like I said, Basically all these Smith backs and Acorn backs you can get in either finish. So it handles and feels a little bit differently, but you get the same cards as the other decks. The thing that's nice about these ones is while it doesn't have a true white border, it still essentially has a white border. And it looks pretty nice and it handles pretty nice. So this one is definitely a hit. Pretty much though, I think the Smith backs are a hit. Can't find anything, too bad to say about them. Especially this one because it has the borders on it. Next, we'll look at some of these, the Acorn backs. And this was the first one that came out. It was a green one. And again, they come in either ivory or cambric finish. Most of these, I think, are cambric. And you can see you got the same kind of court cards and jokers as the Smith back in this one. And the back design is pretty nice. It's similar to the first deck, except that it's got those hands on it instead of the diamonds, and you get the logo, so it's almost rider back like, and the handle's nice and it looks nice. So definitely a hit so far, anyways, when it comes to the Acorn backs. The red one was the next one, and this one is really nice. I like this one a lot. This one actually has coloring on the faces, a peach coloring on the faces, so it looks like flesh. And yes, that is David Blaine's ugly face on there. Well, not ugly, but whatever. But this one I really like because of the red and the gold. It just looks really, really nice. Much better than white. Like, if they had done red and white, it would have looked fine, but it would not have looked as nice. And all of these cards seem to be clumping a little bit, but whatever. They've been sitting there for months now, so there you go, that's better. So this one is nicer than the green and the white. And the most recent one is black and silver. And this one, again, you get the peach colored faces. And this one, you get the same kind of court cards, same jokers, same everything. But they took a page out of the Blue Crown's book and they made a black and silver back design. And it looks probably even nicer than the red and the gold. So definitely a hit with the black ones. There is one more that came out at the same time. This one is a lot harder to find. A little bit harder to find. More expensive. Rarer. You get the same basic deck. Nothing different there. But the backs are a silver and black back design. It's kind of a reverse and handles really nice, as you can see. But I'm not as crazy about this color as I am the other one. This one it's nice, but because it's not as nice as the other ones, and because it was so much more money, and for me it didn't cost anything, but I did have to buy a brick of these ones in order to get this, so it wasn't cheap at all. And because they were selling them, because they were hard to find, you can only get them like that. Other sellers, like the one at Jack and Bean Poker World, were selling them for like 30 or 40 bucks each, and so were other people, because they're rare and they weren't sold individually. And all that $30 or $40 for what? The same basic thing as this, except the colors are different. There's nothing really special. It's kind of like everything that's been going on with the white monarchs or the golden monarchs. It's the same thing. It's just a rarer color. So it's almost a miss for me. But it's handling really nice, and it looks pretty decent. So I don't know. It's kind of in the middle. I want to say it's a miss because of the price, but I also didn't pay anything for it, so I don't know. Then there is a couple other decks to go through here. There's the Ask Alexander deck, which looks like this. Again, you got the same kind of court cards and same number cards. It's got this custom Ace of Spades, which looks pretty cool. And it's a vintage design, I think. Even says Consolidated Card Company, New York, Samuel Hart. It's pretty cool. But the back design, it's pretty nice. There's a lot of details in there, except it is a one-way back design. And that kills it a little bit for me. And again, this one is a smooth and ivory finish. Not sure why I got ivory. But, I mean, overall, it's not a bad looking deck. I like the custom ace. And I do like the overall look of the back design, but then you got this big head in there, which makes it a one-way back design. So that kind of kills it for me. So I'd probably have to say this one is a miss. But just barely. Then there was, I guess this came around the same time, the Professional Bicycle deck. And what is it? It is, you guessed it, a rider back. And these ones only came in red. There was 12 different ones essentially, but they were all red. The only real difference about this one is apparently it has a magic finish. And you get a couple of ad cards, but it's the same faces as a regular bicycle deck. You do get a nice colored joker. Sorry if you can't see that. And, you know, standard ace. Oh, a second colored joker. Yay. But that's basically what you get. The only main difference from a regular deck, like I said, is its magic finish. So it handles nicer. And it's going to last longer. So that's always good. And the other thing is, this barcode is actually a phone number, except that it is a long distance 920 pay phone number, I think. I think that's a pay number. But it is for a reveal. And there's also, if you look inside the box, it says, there's a reveal in here. It says, your card is the Queen of Diamonds. But again, it's Four of Diamonds, sorry. I'm looking at it upside down here. Four of Diamonds. Again, that's really hard to read. And it's just kind of weird. And then the reveal on the bottom where you have to phone some phone number, and you probably have to pay long distance or something. Kind of weird. But overall, it's a nice looking deck, but it's just a rider back, and it costs more money, and only because it's got a magic finish and a couple of kind of crappy reveals. For me, overall, this deck is a miss. Miss. That's kind of weird. A couple more decks. Then there is this one, the B-eres deck, squeezer deck, Erdnase squeezer, whatever you want to call it, that came out through Dan and Dave's website. And actually this one came out before the Black Acorn backs. That was the last one they released. And this one's got some interesting, older looking vintage style pips. And, I mean, look at that, that's definitely different. It's got some older style pips. And court cards, the court cards look like they're old. They've aged. Black and white jokers. Although they are B jokers, they're black and white. And again, look at that too. I don't know if you can tell, but she looks old. Standard B-ace of spades. And then you got the back design. It is borderless again. But you got this SW Erdnase logo on it. It's not bad looking. Would have been fine if they added borders to it, but they chose not to. But overall, I like it. I like the vintage feeling to it, and it's a pretty nice deck, and I would say it is a hit. Now, I know this video is running a little bit long. Actually, it's not running too long, as per usual, but there's a couple other decks I thought I'd mention. That's these. They're fine playing cards. They're from an Italian company. They're not USPC. Come in red and blue. I've done a review on them. And I think there's going to be more of these coming out in the future. But these are pretty nice, yet thin, air cushion type cards. Conjuring Arts, they didn't make these, but they did sell them for a while until they sold out. And I like these cards. They're really nice looking. They handle nice. I like cards with thin borders on them. There's your back design. Really nice. And it is not a one-way back design, in case you're wondering. And then, you know, everything else is fairly standard. Aces are a little bit different, as you can see. Court cards are standard, fairly standard. They're not USPC. Jokers, pretty interesting looking, and they're both different. And it's kind of what you get. It's a pretty nice deck. These ones are definitely a hit. Not originally from Conjuring Arts, but they did sell them, so I figured I would mention them. And I do think that you should definitely check these out, because they are really nice. Alright, that is hit or miss for Conjuring Arts. Again, for the most part, a lot of hits, a couple of misses or sort of misses. Next week, I'm going to do what everyone's been asking for and wanting and looking for, and that is Fury 11. And it's probably going to be painfully brutal, but we'll see. And that is it for today. I'll see you next time with more Hit or Miss.